What is up, my friends? It is Sunday evening and you are very welcome along to today's transfer news roundup. We are going to speak about the futures of Federico Chiesa, Ben Doak. We're going to talk a little bit about Nathan Collins. We're going to be asking what really is going on with the centre-back search. Of course, it wouldn't be an Anfield Agenda news roundup, but a little bit on Alexander ISAK, and we will talk about him as well. The good news is we will be back tonight at about 8:30. We're going to go a little bit earlier as we often do at the weekends. So we hope to see you back here for the late night agenda tonight at 8:30. Until then, I'll do my best to keep you up to date. You know the score. I want to know your thoughts. Do let me know in the comment section. Drop a like on the video and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Right, folks, there's one thing I just can't shake, and that is, well, apart from a little bit of weight, there's another thing I can't shake, and that is a feeling of anger and frustration at the refereeing decision the other night around the handball. I know we went on to win the game and it didn't really impact the result overall, but that doesn't really matter to me. That was in a clear, blatant handball, and Michael Oliver has form for this. Remember Martin Odegaard handball that wasn't given, that was blatant, and again threw his arm around the ball. How anybody in any professional capacity could look at that situation and deem that it wasn't a handball against Bournemouth, I really do not know. You know, the referee missing it, like I've always said, these things happen in real time and referees can miss them. But for the VAR to miss it, for the Premier League to put out the statement that they did, once again just kind of brushing it under the carpet, it isn't good enough. And that could impact us in a big way. Bournemouth came back into that game, and yes, because of our own shambolic defending, but if they had been down to 10 men, or at the very least, we had an actual refereeing decision that was transparent and clear, I don't know. I can't shake it. It's still winding me up, though. Let me know what you guys think. And remember, it's us now. Could be another team next week. But ultimately, we want these decisions to be correct, especially with the implementation of VAR. Right, let's move on to Federico Chiesa. This piece here from Gazzetta Italia said, Federico Chiesa is now considered unsellable by Liverpool, which has been communicated to the winger during a direct meeting with Arne Slot. An exit this summer has been ruled out. I think this makes sense. Now, what I don't understand here is, if we are keeping Chiesa, which I'm more than happy with as long as he gets game time, surely this puts to bed the 60-70 million pound winger rumour that Dave O.C. Kopp had posted about. We need to bring in ISAK, but after that, the thought process was that there will be another 60-70 million pound winger. Surely, if we're going to be keeping Rio, Chiesa, Salah, Gakpo, Ekitike, bringing in, let's say, ISAK or another forward, can't see a seventh one coming in. Just seems like a little bit too much, but maybe you disagree on this one. If you do, by all means, do let me know. Right, moving on now to a report from Sasha Tavolieri. I don't really know what to make about this one, but let me know what you think. Liverpool FC won't wait forever for Alexander ISAK. Now, look, there's some common sense to that. We do have to know one way or the other what's happening there. If the worst came to the worst and Liverpool can't get him done by X or Y, yeah, we're going to have to look elsewhere. Goes on to say, despite mutual interest and the Swedish striker being the top priority, the Reds have set a deadline. If no agreement is reached with Newcastle by next week, the door will be wide open for other targets. Finishes it by saying more to follow. I don't know who these other targets could be. Honestly, I'm looking around the world at this point and thinking, if we missed out on ISAK, who is another number 9? Now, there's every chance that maybe the manager pivots away from a number 9 to a multifaceted forward, and there are a couple of those out there that, you know, spring to mind. But let me know what you guys think. It certainly feels like we're all in on ISAK, and again, we're going to speak about Ben Doak and his sale in a moment, but we're selling on players, moving on forward options for the manager. Got to make sure that we have enough. So, an account on X called @UniqueRiggers said, just watch Match of the Day, and Alan Shearer blamed Milos Kerkez for the first Bournemouth goal by saying that he was out of position. The problem with that, my friends, was he wasn't on the pitch. And as this gentleman has said, Andy Robertson came on in the 60th minute and we conceded that goal in the 64th minute. So I don't know what to say about that, but be better, I guess. Nathan Collins. So the Daily Mail have said Liverpool interested in Brentford defender Nathan Collins. No real surprises here. We've been linked with him quite a bit throughout the window. But the big problem comes in that, one, he's just been named their captain. And two, well, we all know that Brentford have had a shocking transfer window. Going to bring in Otara, that is one positive for them. Probably going to lose Yoan Visa to Newcastle. Obviously, lots of transition there. Keith Andrews coming in. I don't see a world where they can sell Nathan Collins and not get relegated, quite frankly. They go on to say the 24-year-old was named the Bees captain this summer and has 2 years, 2 years since being signed from Wolves in a £23 million deal. He's got 4 years left on his Brentford contract, so they'd be in no rush to sell. And yeah, look, I just can't see a world where it would happen. I like Nathan Collins. We've spoken about this on the Late Night Agenda before, but yeah, just don't see it happening. And also, on the Mark Gay situation, still can't see a world where we extend Canade and bring him in. I feel like it has to be one or the other, just for the amount of players Arna wants in his squad. Would I like a world where Mark Gay and Canade are both at the club? Absolutely. I still just can't see it, though. I just can't. Again, though, like we spoke about a moment ago, giving a bit of a deadline maybe to the situation with ISAK, we're going to have to see something similar here happen for the situation with Mark Gay or Canade or whoever the centre-back is going to be. We need, clock's ticking, we need to get going. Right. Newcastle are expected to complete the £35 million signing of Yoan Visa from Brentford. Brentford obviously brought in Dango Ouattara, meaning that they have a forward brought in, and this should see Visa move out. Now, one of the questions that I've been getting asked quite a bit is, would that be enough for Newcastle to sanction the sale of ISAK? Personally, I don't think so. I think they're still going to want to bring in that second forward before they do it, but a couple of others maybe think differently, thinking one might be enough for Newcastle. My understanding is they'll want to bring in 2 players, so let me know where you're at with that one. And finally tonight, just before we finish up, Ben Doak agreement. So the Echo write that Liverpool are set to sell Ben Doak to Bournemouth. They go on to say that the Scotland winger wanted by a string of clubs and that talks have accelerated, and that should be done very soon, taking the Red summer rebuild, or summer sales I should say, to £215 million, which is a very, very significant amount of money that Liverpool have brought in. Lots of headlines to say what we've spent, but again, £215 million there recouped after the sale of Ben Doak means that with some quick maths, I think we spent about £110 million net this summer, taking into account the signature of Giovanni Leone. So if we were to sell, let's say, Harvey Elliott, that would be another 40 or 50 million, bringing us down to somewhere in and around 60, 65 million net before maybe the acquisitions of Alexander Isak and a centre-back. So good business on both sides of it from Liverpool, but we still do need 1 or 2 more additions, or else we fear we could be leaving ourselves a little bit short. So that is it for now. We'll be back tonight, as I mentioned, a little bit earlier, 8:30 for the Late Night Agenda. Hope you guys can join us for that. Lots to go through, as I'm sure you can imagine. We will reflect on the result of the Arsenal game against Manchester United. We'll talk about Chelsea and how their campaign began. They're playing Crystal Palace. As I sit here with about 20 to go, it was still 0-0, but of course, things can change quickly in football. So yeah, see you tonight at 8:30. We'll go through it all. Appreciate your support as always. Hope you've had a wonderful weekend, and don't forget, it is a week from tomorrow that the Reds are back in action away at St James's Park. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.